Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you. Natasha Desai is a digital content creator, a stylist, and an influencer with her own unique take on style and fashion. She's amassed a bank of knowledge in fashion, lifestyle, and beauty. A mother of twins, she successfully juggles her world of social media and styling with motherhood. Hi, Natasha. Welcome to Impact Duty.
Hi.
I'm so glad to have you on the
Thank you for
platform.
having me. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
The pleasure is all mine. So I'm really excited to talk to you because we're heading up to the Christmas season, and I know it's rather warm over where you are. It's frightfully cold where I am here in Zurich.
I know. Yeah.
But I'm sure we have lots to discuss in terms of fashion and your presence on social media as quite the influencer. But Natasha, how did your journey quite begin?
So I have been an MBA student in fashion, and I was a fashion stylist before I actually started influencing. And so actually, as a fashion stylist, I had a lot of long hours, working hours. And of course, with marriage and kids, it was super, super difficult, to cope up with those long hours, because being a stylist on shoots, on sets, on, even on occasion wears, like a wedding stylist, it takes a lot of your time. And it was getting really difficult for me to cope up with the house, the girls. So I eventually quit. But obviously, it was really difficult not to work and not to do anything. And that's where my husband got me introduced to Instagram. So I was never on Instagram. I didn't know what Instagram was ever for the longest time. And he kept on insisting that, you should be on the gram. You should, it's something, it's of your interest, you should be there. So I just gave it a thought and I said, why not? And I went forward. And yes, it was very interesting because it was all about pictures, and pictures and me is like, wow, I'm totally like, I love clicking pictures. So I was like, okay, wow, this is very interesting. And then there were like friends who always like kept motivating me and kept telling me that you style so well and you always dress up so well. And why don't you why don't you get into this segment where you can actually influence people in getting the right things and looking good? I mean, there are people who need this kind of assistance where they need that push from somebody who can, influence them to feel good, look good. So I thought of it and I said, okay, let's give it a try. I mean, with the girls being so small, I'm a mother of twins. So It was really difficult. Yes.
How old
so
are
it was
they
really difficult. They're going to be turning 8 in 2 months.
Excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
But Natasha, you said you are and were a fashion stylist by profession. How did that happen, or how did you move into?
So I did honestly, to begin with, I have. I'm going to talk about this later in your looking forward questions. But fashion has always been me very naturally, as in I love clothing, I love fashion, I love styling. So as a kid, I always had that in me. And then I just wanted to study fashion. So I did that. I did my MBA in fashion, in retail, where in merchandising. So I've studied like a whole the fashion segment. And then obviously the college where I was studying, they obviously got me to work at these places. And I was working with Aditya Birla. For like 2 years, I worked with them. So they had like multiple segments and multiple multiple options where we could go. We could style on sets. We had GQ magazine on board, so we would do a lot of shoots for them. So I have got I've got these experiences in the various forms. Not I used to do a personal one-on-one styling basis also with my clientele. So I used to have a lot of VVIP clients wherein I used to style them for their special occasions, their parties. So I have actually got a lot of what you say, exposure in all these segments. And fashion is honestly very natural to me. It's not something even without studying, I think I could have done it. It's just that I wanted to study to just get the detailed knowledge of, how merchandising and retail, in case I ever wanted to open up a shop for myself, or, something of that sort. So that was my aim actually. But then obviously the girls happened, and I never expected twins, and twins happened. And it was like my life changed totally with them, like totally. For 3-4 years, I was like totally just behind them, just revolving around them. And then, yes, influencing was one thing which was very upcoming in India. We didn't have so many influencers then.
Right.
I'm talking 2016 and 17, where there were very few who were in the market, and the industry was growing.
Right.
And like I said, my friends just mentioned to me that, why don't you do this? You really can influence people. You really have that. And I was like, okay, let's do it if this works. And I started. I did start. It was not easy, because to be on the gram, there are certain rules, and to have a certain set of audience to grab attention of people initially, to gain that audience. Now, right now, I'm at a certain age now, I'm okay. But at the earlier stage, when you want that attention from people, that people know that you are existing on the gram, it's very important. And for that, you have to be very consistent in what you're posting. I can't just post for one day and then not post for 10 days. People are going to forget me. So that one rule in the fashion influencing world is very important, that you have to be consistent. It's very, very important that you have to remind your audience that you are there. You are not forgotten. It's very important. So to cope up with that was a little difficult initially for me, because to have like pictures shot every day, and I didn't know how to go about it, of course, initially. Then we eventually learned the process. And so there was a time when I didn't post for 10 days in a row. And that was a time I felt, oh shit, I'm done. I don't think I can do this. I literally felt that. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. I just can't cope up with the girls. This shoot, this wearing garments, shooting every day. It's not me. I just can't do it.
Right.
But then I don't know what happened to me on the 10th day. And I just, on the 11th day, woke up and I said, no, I will do this. And I will do this no matter what, because this is me. This is what I want. I cannot do a 9-to-5 desk job. It's not me. And that day, since then till today, I'm talking 3 years now, I have not missed a day when I have not posted on the map.
That's incredible, Natasha, honestly. But apart from fashion, beauty is your other forte. And I see a lot of beauty products being featured on the gram, on the page. So tell us a little bit about your daily routines, the do's and the don'ts, some things that we must keep in mind, that kind of thing.
All right. So the basic do's and don'ts: a lot of water, natural. I'm talking lot of water intake to have the natural beauty and the glow. Fruits, vegetables, very important. I'm talking on the intake of our food. Then cleansing, washing, and moisturizing. Very simple, basic rules we have to follow. It's like your day shouldn't start or end without it.
Right.
You start your day and you end your day. In between also, there are people who really need that moisturizing and cleansing, and I think you should, because it's very important. These are very simple things. There's no rocket science. So you don't need expensive products for this. You can do it with basic products as well. So these are my basic rules that I follow. Right. And yes, of course, with age, we need a little anti-aging creams. And the only thing I apply is my anti-aging cream at night and my night repair Estee Lauder. That's all. And that's all I'm doing for now. And yes, I also try to inculcate a lot of cleanups and facials if and when I have time through the month. But if you have that kind of time, I would suggest that, yes, at least twice a month, you should be taking care of your skin and intake of a lot of water and green vegetables, and you're sorted. I mean, water though is definite. There is no debate on why I should drink water, because I have personally seen the days when I actually drink a lot of water. Yes. So the days when I actually drink a lot of water, my skin totally glows differently. I mean, it's very natural. It just glows differently. And even more simpler process, ice your skin regularly, because that also helps to tighten the pores and keep your pores closed, and your skin always stays tight, so you don't have that droopy skin.
Wow.
It's a very simple thing. I'm not giving you any expensive products to use. I'm giving you very simple tips. Icing is something which is very, very, very easy, very good for dark circles, and it helps you tighten your skin. Your pores your pores don't open up, and they're like intact.
I better go jump in the snow before it melts.
That's why when in winter we see, right, our skin usually we have that redness. We are more chubbier. We feel that difference, right? I mean, in the summers in India, if you see, we are all like drained, and we feel like as if, my God, we need a bath every 1 hour.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah,
what about something that we do that we shouldn't do, like the don'ts, things that you're like, oh my God, I
do
can't
not sleep. Yeah, don'ts for skin is in food part, too much oily, avoid, of course, and please don't sleep with makeup, however late it is, whatever time of the day. If you are wearing even like the slightest of makeup on your skin, please remove it. It's very, very important. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to do that. Just remove the makeup before you hit the bed, because that is the worst thing. I mean, I don't think there is any lady out there who would not be wearing makeup today. And even if it's just like the basic compact or a foundation that you're just wearing, please remove that and sleep. It just helps your skin to breathe better. That's all.
Wow. And the other thing I see featured on your page a lot is fitness. Okay. So we know the essence of food. I've now seen a lot of fitness on your page. What do you believe is essential or more essential, food or fitness, and why?
Okay. So let me begin with how I am into fitness. I've been a dancer for 17 years.
Wow.
I started dancing at the age of 5 with Shamak Davar, and I danced with him for 17 years. I used to train for the last few years, like I used to instruct. And yes, so fitness has been in my system throughout all these years. I mean, I'm like, my body is tamed to be the way it is. I mean, even when I was pregnant, I did not gain weight. The minute the girls were out, I was back in shape. So yeah, fitness has been like in me throughout all these years.
Yeah.
And your question of
which is essential.
Which is essential. I am a foodie as well. I love food. If I see food, it's very difficult for me to say no to food. I mean, I will consume little, maybe not more, but I will consume it. It's like, I just can't say no to food.
What's
so I feel fitness and food. Weakness, desserts, chocolates. I mean, I can actually skip food, but I can have the dessert. It's like that. It's so hard to resist. It's so hard. Actually, so I feel food and fitness.
I remember this because I remember that I offered to send you chocolates from here if you trade some chocolates from Bombay for me. Happily take your street food in exchange.
So it's like totally like desserts are like desserts. I mean, chocolates and desserts is something that's very, very difficult for me to resist. And I feel food and fitness, they have to go hand in hand. There is no way you can say no to food and eat food and say no to fitness. I feel every individual should have some form of physical activity in their life. There has to be either some sport, or hit the gym, or walking, or yoga, some physical activity you have to have. It's a matter of 1 hour you have to give yourself every day. And I don't think that's hard. I know it's difficult. Everybody's very busy. Schedules are tight. But if people can manage, if the certain segment of people can manage, I think everybody can manage. It's not that difficult.
Wow. Thank you, Natasha. And back to fashion. So local designers, there are a lot that have established themselves in India. There are a lot of new ones that have come up. So let's first look at local designers that are your key go-tos. And then we'll take a look at foreign brands that you believe
are quite a part and parcel of
So
it.
honestly, on my page, if you see, I do not promote a lot of I promote a lot of local people or local designers only, if you actually go through my page, because I personally believe that they are the people who need recognition. They
Mm-hmm.
are the people who are in the market, but they are not recognized because they don't have a name. They are not a Manish Malhotra or they are not a Sabyasachi.
Right.
Because those names are already recognized in the market. You don't need anybody to tell them.
Yeah.
People know, people follow
Globally.
them, people are updated about them.
Yes.
People who are not actually in the recognition segment are these local people, designers who are actually so good. Like when I actually go to these local people, like a shop in Bandra or a simple small designer in Lokanwala or a simple designer in Breach Candy, and you see their small pretty boutiques and the collection, you feel so wow. I mean, just because they don't have that kind of brand name, or they don't have that they've not marketed themselves on that large scale, they are not recognized, but their work is fab. Their work is really fab and they need recognition. So I personally believe on my page, I want them to be a lot more recognized than a Manish Malhotra or a Sabyasachi, because wearing that anybody can. I mean, they don't need that recognition. Also, they are brand, they are recognized, they are where they are. But
Right.
these people are for me it's very important that these small people get the recognition. So if you actually go through my page, you'll see very small people who have actually promoted, because it's very important that they get that push. They need it. And especially during the COVID times, that people didn't have work, people were losing jobs. And there were so many people who were just actually coming to us and saying, please help us with the marketing. We need that thing, we need that push again.
Right.
And I think it was very important that local businesses are given the push in our industry than doing big brands. Because big brands, yes, of course, they are glamorous and they are wow. There's no debate on that.
Right.
But I feel my industry, where I am supposed to be, I mean, I am there to help people. The idea is that I want to help the customers as well as the brands. The both should benefit. Like my followers also should benefit to get the right things from my end. At the same time, my brands also should feel happy that, okay, they are also recognized now in the industry or in the market.
Right.
And that's what my aim is. And that's where I believe that promoting these small, I have a lot of local people I love. So don't ask me to pick names because it's very difficult for me, because there's
I was
so
about
many
to
actually.
ask you, what
They are
have
all
you
so
already-
good. No, actually, they all are so good, and I feel that I don't want to pick on names, because I feel everybody is individually so good in their work. It's just that they need that push and that recognition. And once they're recognized, they're going to do fabulously well. So yeah, and when you talk about international brands, which are not in India, where there are many, India needs to be we still need a lot to go to, be ahead in the fashion industry. I mean, we are actually very, very behind, I feel personally, because there are so many things that forget brands. There are multiple brands which are not even like, we don't even know about them in India. But the brands which are in India existing, like a Ted Baker or a Michael Kors or a Gucci or whatever, even those brands are not updated, I feel, in India still. Their stocks are also all
last year's
6 months old, last year's. And we are still fashion. I feel we still need a lot to go ahead in fashion. I mean, India, otherwise, we have a big market. We have people who want to spend money. I mean, I used to have clientele who used to come to me and say, I want a Versace shirt, I want this. But you don't have this style over here. Why? We see it there. We see it in London. We see it in Dubai. But why is it not in India? And I didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually where I was heading to in terms of foreign brands. The availability is probably there now in India in terms of the brand.
It is.
But in terms of the collection, I was about to ask you about accessibility to collections and new fashion.
I still feel no. Collection is still not. We are still not.
Travel abroad to get access to.
Of course. I mean, when I only travel myself, I just see like the set is only different. I mean, there is nothing that I would find in India, even if it's like a simple Zara for that matter. It's totally different.
Wow.
So when you talk about these big brands, I mean, every time I see like a Burberry site on the UK site, and I go to the shop in India, in Bombay, I mean, there's nothing same. Even if I want to show them the picture and say, do you have this? They'll be like, no, ma'am, we don't have this.
Right.
So the brand does exist. There are brands which are coming up, and yeah, we have brands. It's not that we do not have brands, but it's just that I feel collection wise we really need a lot of update, because still there are people who will go abroad only and shop these brands. In India, we are still, I mean, you go and ask any of these brands, are they doing really well? They will say no, because people still feel, acha, we are not getting that latest thing, you know. And if you're spending that kind of money, you obviously want the latest thing. You don't want something which is last year or last season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have actually dealt with those kind of clients, you know, where they have actually come and told me that, you know what, this is something we saw last season in Dubai. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
You know, it's like that. And
Yeah,
people are so
highlighting.
well-traveled these days. Yeah. And people are so well-traveled these days that you cannot fool anybody. I mean, you think, but people are so well-traveled that people exactly know what is available where. You can't fool people in India. You cannot fool people. People in India have a lot of money, but you cannot fool people in India.
Natasha, thank you for highlighting that, because, you know, the thing is,
Yes.
From my time in Bombay, I've seen, when I was living there, and that's a good 15 years ago, there were brands that were just entering the market. And that was a big thing that, you know, mango is coming to India and that kind of thing. However, now, I mean, when I think about it and I hear everything and anything is there in India. However, what you've highlighted is the fact that even if we do have the accessibility to those brands, it might not be an updated collection, which is, something to still keep in mind.
Also seasons, very important. Like I said, we don't have winters. I mean, these brands, even if they have their winter collection and people in India want to shop their winter collection, they will not bring it to India, because that sale will not happen, right? Because we don't have that kind of winter only in Bombay. Where will people buy and wear it unless you're traveling?
Right. Yeah.
So the seasons also have a lot of impact on the collection. I just don't blame the brands for it. But I personally feel that we are a little behind when it comes to, you know, the collection in fashion. And of course, brand-wise, so we have so many brands which we still don't have in India, and we still have to travel abroad for them. So,
yeah. And back to fashion, with fast fashion. So recently, obviously, we've seen major brands, high street brands, bringing out collection after collection. I mean, it's not even seasonal now. It's several seasons within a season.
It's not,
yeah. So
it's like every week is a season. Every week they are updated. You go to a Zara and you see new collection every week. You go to a H&M, there's new collection every week. So, yeah.
So in your opinion, Natasha, how do we combine fast fashion with sustainable development? Because it must be taking a toll at some point.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it is. So everybody wants to shift to sustainable fashion. Everybody wants to. I mean, there are a lot of people that now are focusing on sustainable fashion. But I feel, will the brands like a Zara or a H&M allow us to? I mean, when you hit the store and you see a new range of clothing and collection every week,
right?
How are you going to be driven to sustainable fashion? You are going to land up go shopping and buying new things, and you know, you feel a 2,000 rupee top is way better than buying something which is 10,000 rupee and I'll wear it 3-4 times in different ways and different styles. And I mean, yes, people are trying that. I personally feel, I see also in India that people are trying that, you know, let us make these few investments of, you know, getting good clothes, sustainable clothes, and repeating them in different ways and different styles.
Right.
But will these brands allow us is the question, because every time you open a Zara website online, you see new things and then you're tempted. Obviously, you know, people who love fashion and love industry are going to be tempted to buy it. Mm-hmm. How are we going to, how is sustainability going to evolve if these brands are not, I mean, they also need to help us somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
In in getting sustainability into picture. Otherwise, how is it going to be possible? Well, now the trend in India is, people are very conscious on where, in mix and matching things. And, if I have something which is very like very nice and selective, and I want to team it up with something simple and, casual, people are doing that. People are mix and matching. People have understood the concept of repeating clothes now. People have. Right. But I still feel that when these brands come up with, every time they come up with new things, how is it possible to have sustainable fashion? It's a big question.
Right. And just off the top of my head, Natasha, a tip on something we should have in our wardrobe. Something that you say, oh yeah, you should put this as a must-have.
Must have: one white shirt, basic good denims, good fit, one black dress, a nice jacket, and good nude heels, and a nice nude bag. Very basic things, but you should have these because they are something you can mix and match. They go with everything. You can overdress yourself with them, underdress yourself with them. So yes. Yeah, you can also have one pair of sneakers, which are like just the casual carry-off look types.
Thank you. You just sorted out my Christmas wish list. And onto social media and staying relevant. As an influencer, you've given us a few tips already, but how difficult is it in this world of influencers? So when you started, as you said, there weren't too many players on Instagram and other social media platforms. So how difficult is it to stay relevant as an influencer? And also talking about collaborations and partnerships, which have become a big thing now with influencers. How difficult is it to access them? Or to choose which ones to go with? Okay, so I've given you two tough questions to answer.
Not really. Honestly, being relevant is, so every product that comes to me, I am very honest about it. I try everything that comes to me, whether it's beauty, it's fashion, it's makeup, it's skincare. I use it first. I make sure that I use it. I know that it's good enough for me to actually put it up on my page. And then I take it further. When you talk about collaboration opportunities, there are plenty now. Plenty as in plenty. And we, of course, make our choices on what we want to and who we want to collaborate. Now, at this stage, of course, I do. Earlier, I never used to. Earlier, whatever came my way, I used to take it up because that was my growing path. But now I sit down and I definitely study the brand first. I study what they require from me and whether it's worth giving my time with the kind of, budgets they have sometimes. And sometimes they really work on very low budgets. And it's not that just because they are paying you low that I do not want to promote it. Sometimes the brand is fabulous. And I feel, even if it's paid, even if they don't pay us well, it's fine. But the brand needs recognition. So I do it. That's how I work.
Right.
But then there are certain times, because the industry has become so vast with so many influencers now, even brands have a lot of choices now. If not her, this influencer. If not her, this influencer. Somebody though will do it only.
Yeah.
So they try to pull people. They try to pull us down with our, with our budgets and with our expectations from the brand. But then it's very important that as an influencer, you should stick to where you stand and where you belong, because otherwise, anywhere, any industry, it's large. I mean, people will have options and it's fine. I mean, there are times when I've actually said no to somebody and I've seen somebody else promote the same brand and it's fine. I mean, as long as it's working for that person, it didn't work for me. But it's totally fine. I mean, at a certain stage, you have to know where you are valued and where your value should be. And like I said, if the brand is genuinely good and I really personally like it, even if they do not offer us what we deserve to be offered, I still go ahead and I do it for the brand, because sometimes good things need recognition, and I feel that it's important. Everything is not money based, or how much they pay us or they value us. But yeah, so I work on these terms basically. And when it comes to products that come to me, I make sure that I try it. I definitely try it.
Right.
Whatever come what may. So in the COVID times, I never was into the food part. I mean, now there are people who are continuously sending me food products as well.
Really?
And I have agreed. Yeah. So what to do, because everybody wants help now. Everybody was like, oh God, now the brand is dying and we need help, and COVID has ruined everything. And so I just opened my my page for everybody for these tough times, that thinking that let's focus on lifestyle now, let's focus on everything. And yeah, so even the food that comes, I do not eat the entire thing, but I taste it before I say a few things about it. I will taste it. It definitely be in my mouth. I'll taste it. I'll exactly know what it is before I talk to my people about it, because otherwise it's not being fair, right? I cannot be unfair to my audience, or I don't want my audience to come and ever tell me that because of you we got this, but this was not done right, or this was not right. This is something I would never want to hear. And
Right.
at the same time, from my brand also, I would not want to hear that, we did not get anything from your end, because everybody has to be happy in this and that. I'm the middle person for them, and I want both of them to be happy.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. And Natasha, you've got gorgeous hair. So I'm going to ask you to give us a tip or two on how to keep our tresses all, nicely hydrated and beautiful.
Okay. So obviously oil your hair regularly, but now that we don't do that, it's our old days where I used to do a lot of oiling to my hair, but now I've completely stopped, because I don't have that time. And because I almost shoot every other day, so I cannot have oily hair as well.
Right.
So I stopped that. But yes, I consume a lot of coconut in some form or the other, either dry coconut or the pulp, the coconut pulp. I consume it in a lot of ways. It definitely gives a lot of nutrition to our hair. It helps the growth better also. I do a lot of hair spas on a very regular basis, because that's anyways now a simpler process than doing hair oiling, because hair oiling, like I said, I have shoots every other day and I cannot have my hair very oily all the time. So hair spas really work. They are handy. They really, really work. I try not to chemically treat my hair very often. I mean, I color my hair once in a year types, and then I stick to that. I do not chemically treat my hair very regularly, because that also ruins up. And yes, of course, I do a lot of blow drying and a lot of hair tonging these days, of course, because of my work. But yeah, so these are the few things, at least I try to do, which help my hair to stay the way they are. Actually, I actually had more thicker hair than this, but with all the styling and all the heat that we use, and of course I use a lot of hair serums post my hair wash and before my hair tonging. That's very important, because that really somewhere saves our hair from the heat. So yes, I do use serums and hair products which will hold my hair together and not spoil it with the heat.
Wow. Thank you for that. I'm really going to imbibe the coconut tip or trick.
You should try that. And better, I know it's not going to be easily available in Zurich, but pan.
Pan? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm heading down to the local Indian store. Really?
Yeah, okay. So the gulkan and the pan leaf. Yeah, that really helps your hair to have thicker growth, and yeah.
Ooh.
Your growth will eventually thicken with that.
Nice one. Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah, so these are the tips I had got when I was pregnant with my girls. And when we say that our kids need, I hope the baby, I mean, when we know we have girls, and we hope the girls have good hair, on their when they're born. So that's when I used to eat a lot of all this.
Oh, wow.
And it really worked out. My kids
now.
Came out. Yeah, so these are simple, small things. I mean, so I personally don't feel that you need expensive products to maintain these things. I mean, there are simple things also which work. you know. And I think it's something you can do. I mean, I know everybody cannot afford expensive products, and everybody cannot use them on a very regular basis. Even hair spas and all, I'm saying this, but I know they're expensive. But yeah, it's not something that everybody can afford it on a regular basis. So these are very small few things that, work. I mean, they are simple. You can do it at home.
Excellent. And before I say goodbye to you, Natasha, what's on the cards for you in the near future? What should we look out for in terms of fashion, in terms of the upcoming festive season? I know you don't really have a hardcore winter over there in Bombay, but what should we be looking out for in terms of fashion?
Winter fashion, Bombay fashion, one pullover is enough. To be, like I mentioned, as much as I love layering, as much as I cannot even tell you how much I love layering, but we don't have that kind of winter. Yes, but I think we can still afford to wear nice leather skirts, ankle boots, for our night outs. I mean, those things are, wearable in Bombay and Bombay winters. So I think you can bring out your leathers. Leather fashion for the season, and I think those work pretty well in Bombay, at least for the night.
Wow.
And when it comes to wedding season, so India has such wonderful Indian designers that we are like totally sorted, I feel, when it comes to wedding season in India. I mean, we have designers just lined up for the whole season. I mean, we just have to decide on who we want to wear and who we want to choose. I mean, we have one of the finest Indian designers in our wedding season and collections. So yeah.
And a recent social media post that generated or garnered a lot of attention that you were surprised about on your page, whether it was a reel or a post recently that you were like, oh, really? Wow.
So then there are certain reels who really shoot up, and then you're like actually wondering, is it the song which made it do it, or is it your idea which made it do it? And then so there are many reels, if you see on my page, which have gone up to 45,000 and views, and I'm like, really? I mean really? And then so yeah, maybe it is the trending song that we use sometimes, and that's why they say, that reels, whatever that you use, the songs are very important, because the trending songs is where the reach is, and where you reach to a larger people and a larger audience. And yeah, so honestly, I haven't actually studied which post has really worked, because honestly, all my posts are averagely well interacted with and my audience connect with. But there are these few reels which have berserkly gone high with my views, and I'm like, wow, then there are like certain days when you like post a reel, and in half an hour you see like some 20,000 views, and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm Kareena Kapoor, totally in like half an hour you're like 20,000 views. But yeah, I think the songs really matter, and sometimes they really hit. Instagram really helps us sometimes, to boost our content.
Natasha, it's been an absolute delight speaking with you. I've enjoyed our conversation.
Likewise.
So I'm wishing you a very, very happy season ahead of you. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes out on Instagram in the near future. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me over. Thank you. It was super talking to you.
Take care, Natasha.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.